Welcome back everybody to 31 Days of Horror, and yeah, we're on our 30th a day, so yeah, tomorrow is Halloween, and yeah, I figured we'd look at one of the most significant horror films, not just in terms of film history, but in terms of the horror genre overall, and that is 1968's Night of the Living Dead. Now, this is a 96-minute long film, horror zombie film, with a budget of only $114,000. And yet, over the course of at least a decade, it went on to make at least $30 million. So, easily one of the most profitable films in history. Directed by George A. Romero, who also did the likes of The Crazies, Creepshow, one half of the anthology film Two Evil Eyes, The Dark Half, and most significantly, 5 sequels to this film, with the first 2, Dawn and Day of the Dead, being really rather superb. I think Day of the Dead is my favourite of the trilogy. And yeah, this has a cast of actors who were relative unknowns at the time and pretty much were after this film. But the casting of Dwayne Jones was highly significant, as in doing so, it marked the first time an African-American actor was cast as not just a star, but also the hero of a horror film. And it was one of the first influential films in American cinema where the lead role was given to a black actor when the script hadn't been written with a black character in mind. So, yeah, big influential film, not just in terms of, casting choices, but also in terms of horror films generally, as pretty much every zombie film is based around this kind of film. And yeah, also significant in the fact that it gave George A. Romero a career, because if this had flopped and been reviled at the time, even though it wasn't particularly well received by the critics, audiences did generally quite like it. We probably wouldn't have had the rest of the George A. Romero filmography, which would have been a great shame. And yeah, this is about a group of people who try to survive an attack of bloodthirsty zombies while trapped in a rural Pennsylvania farmhouse. So yeah, although its violence and narrative may seem a bit out of date now, I can still appreciate it would have been how it would have been seen back in 1968. Reading up on how people initially received this, there was a lot of shock, a lot of revulsion about how violent it was, how gory it was, how really rather downbeat it was as well, given the ending. And yeah, but personally, I still find great enjoyment in the film despite its relative tameness in terms of gore, especially when you compare it to the sequels, Day of the Dead being a prime example, because that is really rather gory. And yeah, but the cast is still solid. I like the political and social undertones. The action is decent, it is well shot, well directed, and the fact not a single main character survives this horrific ordeal was rather unique at the time, and for the most part is even unique, quite unique even to this day. So yeah, fantastic film in so many ways, even though it's not my favourite of the original Living Dead trilogy, or the original Dead trilogy, it's still really, really good. And yeah, all that really holds it back is that with the sequels, they got more and more gory, more and more, well produced, more and more effective in terms of their violence. Because in this, yeah, there is violence, and yeah, I can see why people reacted the way they did. But at the end of the day, it's, you're not really seeing much in terms of people being ripped apart. You are seeing, zombies eating body parts. You do see a child kill another human. But yeah, outside of that, it's not particularly gory, which is why it's only rated a 15, whereas the 2 sequels were rated 18. And yeah, but still, great film, highly influential, and yeah, definitely one to see if you haven't seen it already. It's pretty much up there with other classics of other genres, and yeah, definitely one of those all-time greats. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.